Hi students, in this video we're going to look at the reaction between calcium oxide and water. Now calcium oxide looks like this, so you can see this here, sort of like a chalky white substance. Okay, so that's calcium oxide, and we all know what water looks like. That's what we're going to be reacting it with. So I'm going to take my test tube here and add a scoop or two of calcium oxide to my test tube. So again, you'll be able to get a better look at it here in just a moment as well. Okay, so there's a better look at that. Now I'm gonna put that back in my test tube rack. And now I'm going to add some water to it. Now, when you mix a metal oxide, like calcium oxide, and water, you always will form one of two things, either an acid or a base. Now, what we're going to figure out here is which one is it? Does a metal oxide and water form an acid, or does metal oxide and water form a base? And how we're going to do that is we're going to use something called phenolphthalein, which is an indicator. Now, this is in a dark glass bottle, but this is essentially a clear substance, but it will turn one of two colors. If you have our phenolphthalein mixed with water or something neutral, it's this clear color. When you have phenolphthalein mixed with a base, it turns this pink color. Okay, so with a base, it turns this pink color. With a neutral pH like water or an acid, it will be clear. So we are going to add our water to our calcium oxide. And visually, we're not going to see too much. You can see as I'm adding the water here to my test tube with a pipette. You can see visually it's really not having too much occur within the test tube. The real test here will be to see what color the indicator turns when I add that to this mixture. So I added a couple pipettes of water to our test tube. Now, when I swirl this around, you can kind of make some observations. It almost looks like a milky-ish liquid substance at this point. But to decide what we just formed, did we form an acid or a base, we're going to add our indicator. So again, remember, an indicator will be clear if it's in a neutral pH or an acidic solution. And this particular indicator turns this pink color if you have a basic pH or a base. So I'm gonna add just a few drops of that to our solution here. And you can see right away, we've got that pink color. So there is our solution. Again, as a comparison, here is a base plus the indicator, and then here is our acid plus the indicator. So at this point, you should now be able to make a decision about what we formed here. Does calcium oxide plus water synthesize a base, or does calcium oxide plus water synthesize an acid? At this point, you should now complete the remaining questions that go along with this reaction.